Hi, I am Hakim, and welcome to my submission for the Aiccountant SMS Transaction Importer Challenge. I have built a banking messages SMS importer and displays transaction with focus on core features and robust error handling. Let me walk you through the solution, my technical decisions, and how AI tools help me build this efficiently. The live app is available at sms-transaction-importer-versal.app. Okay, let's start from authentication part. I have implemented secure sign up and login using the Aiccountant API. Let's click sign up. We fill up the form with display names. This will be our display name and email. Let's use the test email test@example.com and the password. Okay, and then we create account. Okay, the app failure info fields and handles API properly. So our account has been registered. Now we click sign in, but in sign in we will use the different account because this account already been activated. Okay, let's start with wrong credentials so we can see valid messages being sent by the backend. Click sign in. We get invalid login credential. So this is the wrong password. Let's use another password. This is the correct password. Okay, click sign in. Let's start from the core feature. So here is the core feature, SMS import. I will upload the provided sample CSV file with 15 banking messages. We can actually drag and drop the file. Let's try to drag and drop. Okay, here's the sample file. We drag and drop here. Okay. The app immediately parses and validates the CSV, showing a preview of what will be imported. Notice how it displays the raw message, sender, timestamp, and status for each row. I have implemented proper validation, so you can see valid message in green and any invalid ones would show in red. So let's try edit the CSV file. We cancel this one so we can see the validation process. Let's open up this. We make this invalid, save, and let's try to import it again. Drag and drop it. Okay, we can see this is invalid message in red. The status is invalid and the count is 1. So the interface shows exactly what users are importing before they commit. I can see we have 15 valid messages. I can see we have 15 valid messages ready to go. Now I will submit them using the batch import API, which is much faster than importing one by one. Let's click import. Okay, we wait. We see this indicator. Okay, then we receive this message, and here's the batch import in action. Notice the loading state and the progress feedback. The API processes up to hundreds of messages per batch, and I am handling this asynchronously since the SMS processing happens in the background. Okay, now excellent. We have the successful feedback up here. Import successfully imported 14 messages. Transaction will appear after processing, usually within a few minutes. This is the message. We can dismiss this message also. Okay, then that's it for the import SMS feature. Now we move to transaction page. Now let us see the imported data. Here is the transaction list interface where users manage their imported expenses. I designed this interface focusing on what users actually need to see: transaction date, merchant name, amount, and category, and also the icon for the category, and the payment methods, also the currency. So the layout is clean and scannable. We also have filters up here. We can filter by start date, end date, review or not review, and also we can choose the page size, whether 10 items per page, 20 or 50. Here's the we can also click refresh to reload. Then we alright, that's the pagination. Let's try to change the page size. Change it to 20. We got showing 20 transaction per page. We also group it by date. So we have group over here. This is January. We can click next. Next. Okay, and let's try changing it to 50. Okay, scroll it to the bottom, click next. Okay, this is the end of the page. Okay, let's try the filter. Filter January 1. Okay, we already filter it. Or by range. We can also use range. Until February 7. Filter review, no data, no review. And we also can clear filters. And that's it. That changed the page size. That's it, and now sign out. So for my test stage, I chose React with Typescript, and here's my reasoning. React because it's the gold standard for building interactive UIs like this transaction interface, the component base. Okay, for AI tool experience, I extensively used Claude AI throughout this project, and it was genuinely transformative for development speed. Claude excelled at several key areas. First, API integration. I fed it the entire API documentation, and it generated perfect TypeScript interfaces and API client functions. Second, error handling patterns. It helped me build robust error boundaries and user feedback system. And third, CSS and component structure. It was fantastic for translating UX ideas into clean React components. My prompting strategy was to provide full context upfront, the complete API docs, requirements, and any existing code, then I will ask for a specific focus implementation rather than broad solution. Where Claude struggled, the persistent page state logic was tricky. It initially suggests overly complex solution with multiple contexts and reducer. I had to simplify and implement a cleaner approach myself. Also, Claude sometimes miss edge cases in form validation or async error handling. I always tested everything thoroughly and refined the AI generated code. The biggest win was speed. Tasks that might take hours of documentation, reading, and boilerplate writing were done in minutes, but human oversight and product judgment were still essential. So for the interesting technical challenge, one particularly interesting challenge was handling the asynchronous nature of SMS processing. The API accepts messages immediately but processes them in background. Transactions don't appear instantly. I solved this with clear user messaging and expectation setting. After successful import, users see a message explaining that transaction will appear after processing, usually within minutes. I also implemented persistent state, so if users navigate away and come back, they don't lose context about their recent import. For a production version, I will add a real-time updates using WebSocket maybe or polling to notify users when their transactions are ready. But for this challenge, clear messaging was the pragmatic choice. Trade-off and what's next? My key trade-offs. I prioritize core functionality and user experience over visual polish. The app works reliably and handles error gracefully, but the design could be more refined. I focus on complete user flow rather than advanced features like transaction editing or detailed analytics. With another day, I will add better loading animation maybe and micro interaction, more comprehensive error recovery for partial batch failure, unit test for the critical function, and enhanced video design with better spacing and typography. But the core challenge requirements are fully met. Authentication works, CSV import is robust, transaction display properly, and the user experience is thoughtful throughout. That's my SMS transaction importer. It successfully handles the complete flow from authentication through CSV import to transaction management with persistent state and robust error handling. The live demo is available at YouTube. All source code is in the GitHub repo I share, and I use some test account for this demo. Thanks for reviewing my submission. I had a great time building this, and I'm excited to discuss it further. The combination of React, TypeScript, and AI-assisted development made this really enjoyable challenge to solve.